If you're exhausted during the day, wired at night, and relying on caffeine just to function, the problem isn't discipline. It's not supplements and it's not motivation. It's your circadian biology being out of sync. And here's the part most people miss. Circadian rhythm isn't just about sleep. It's the master clock that controls your energy, your focus, your metabolism, and your recovery. This video will show you how aligning your internal clock can restore deep sleep, steady energy, and mental clarity without stimulants, without supplements, without extreme routines. In fact, people often notice significant changes within a week because the body already knows how to heal when the timing is right. I'm going to break this down using a simple 3-step circadian reset. How light programs your brain, when to eat matters more than what you eat, and how to shut your system down at night so repair can actually happen. And once you understand that, it becomes obvious why willpower fails when your biology is working against you and how to fix it. I'm Dr. Bill Berkowitz. I'm a chiropractor with over 40 years of clinical and advanced training in functional medicine. My work is built on one core principle. The human body is designed to express health and vitality when the conditions are right. I help men and women in midlife who are experiencing declining energy, poor sleep, brain fog, and frustration with a medical model focused on symptom management. What I do is different. I help people rebuild their metabolism, restore circadian rhythm and nervous system rhythms, and realign the biological environment the body requires. See, you cannot heal in the same conditions or the same environment that created the decline. This channel is about returning to biological truth. You will learn about metabolism, hormones, nervous system regulation, circadian alignment, and learn how simple changes in timing, environment, and daily practices can restore energy, clarity, and vitality. It's time to step out of the illness-centered model and rediscover just how capable your body really is. Subscribe to learn how small changes in your daily environment can support better health. You see, health is simpler than you've been led to believe. When your energy fades, when your sleep gets lighter, and your focus becomes harder to hold, the natural assumption is that something inside of you is breaking. It's easy to assume that you're getting older or you're not trying hard enough. And I know that assumption feels logical. It's also usually wrong. In most cases, nothing is broken. Your body is simply responding to the signals it receives every single day. Biology is adaptive. It adjusts to patterns. When those patterns tell your body to stay alert late into the night or slow down when it should be active, the body compensates. And over time, that compensation shows up as fatigue, brain fog, shallow sleep, and poor recovery. Not because your body's failing, but because it's trying to survive in a confusing environment. This is why supplements, stricter diets, and harder routines rarely fix the problem. You can't force energy or discipline your way into deep sleep. When timing's off, effort stops working. And once you understand that energy, focus, and sleep decline are timing problems, not effort problems, the real solution becomes clear. Circadian rhythm is your body's built-in timing system. It runs on a roughly 24-hour cycle and coordinates when systems turn on and when they slow down. Yeah, sleep is part of it, but this clock also controls hormones, digestion, brain function, neurotransmitters, how your cells produce and use energy. You experience this every single day. Hunger shows up at similar times. Focus rises and falls. Your body naturally winds down at night and becomes more alert in the morning. That pattern is your circadian rhythm organizing activity and recovery. And when timing is aligned, the body works efficiently. Energy is easier to access, focus is steadier, recovery comes naturally. When timing is disrupted, systems start compensating. Recovery is delayed, energy becomes harder to reach, even with rest. This is why circadian rhythm matters so much. It doesn't just control one function. It coordinates all of them. And when that coordination is off, the body becomes inefficient. It's not broken. Understanding this explains why so many health strategies fail even when the effort is there. This is where most people get stuck. They're doing the right things and still not seeing lasting change. They clean up their diet, they exercise more, and they add supplements. It might help at first, but then progress stalls. The problem's not effort, it's timing. Most health strategies focus on what to eat, how to train, or what to take. Those inputs matter for sure, but the body doesn't respond to them the same way throughout the day. A meal, a workout, or a supplement can help at one time and interfere at another. When circadian timing is off, even good habits lose effectiveness. Workouts are harder to recover from. Meals leave you sluggish. Sleep becomes something that you have to manage instead of something that comes naturally to you. This is why progress feels forced. Energy is pushed with caffeine. Focus is propped up with stimulants. Not because the strategy is wrong, but because the internal clock that tells those strategies how to work is being ignored. And until timing is addressed, no plan is going to work the way it should. Circadian and metabolic entrainment describe how your internal clock learns what time it is. The body takes cues from signals that repeat throughout the day. Over time, those signals tell the nervous system when to be alert, when to digest and burn fuel, and when to shift into recovery. And light is the strongest of those signals because it programs the brain's master clock. But it's not acting alone. When you eat, when you move, and when you rest also sends timing signals. This is called metabolic entrainment, the synchronization of food intake and movement with your internal clock. When those signals are aligned, the body becomes more efficient. Energy is easier to access, blood sugar is more stable, and hormones are released more predictably. And as a result, sleep comes naturally because metabolism and recovery are no longer competing with one another. When the signals are scattered and pushed late into the evening, the opposite happens. The nervous system stays activated. Metabolism remains in a compensatory state. People feel tired but wired, foggy in the morning, and dependent on caffeine and sugar. Metabolic entrainment is not about eating perfectly or training harder. It's about restoring clear, consistent timing. When timing is corrected, many problems resolve without force. This is why willpower fails when circadian biology is off. You're not fighting habits, you're fighting confused timing. You see, consistency matters more than intensity. The body doesn't need extreme workouts, perfect diets, or complex routines. It responds to clear, repeated signals sent at the same time each day. When light exposure, meals, movement, and rest become predictable, the nervous system settles down. The body stops guessing. Energy becomes more stable, and recovery no longer has to be forced. As those signals are restored, hormones release more appropriately, metabolism becomes easier to regulate, and sleep deepens on its own. This is the foundation for real recovery. Not by doing more, but by doing the right things at the right time. Now let's make this practical. You see, you don't have to change everything about your life. This comes down to 3 simple adjustments that work with your biology instead of against it. So I want to outline a simple 3-step circadian reset that I've used personally to restore energy, improve sleep, and bring mental clarity back online. The first step is light timing, because light is the primary signal that sets your internal clock. Light is what tells your brain what time it is and what your body should be doing at that time. Getting bright light, especially sunlight around sunrise, the earlier in the day, tells your nervous system that it's time to be awake, it's time to be focused, and it's time to be metabolically active. This supports daytime energy and starts the countdown that allows sleep and hormones to rise later in the day. At night, the opposite, reducing bright light and white light allows the brain to recognize that the day is ending. This shift allows melatonin and repair processes to come on board naturally. For many people, adjusting light exposure alone improves sleep quality and daytime energy faster than anything else because it resets the master clock that controls every other system. The second step is food timing and movement. Your metabolism responds not only to what you eat, but when you eat. Meals and movement act like timing stamps on your internal clock. Eating and moving earlier in the day reinforces activity signals. Late night eating or intense activity later in the day sends mixed messages and delays that recovery. When meals and movement follow a predictable rhythm, blood sugar becomes more stable, energy feels more even, and sleep comes easier because metabolism and recovery are no longer competing with one another. Now, the third step is creating a consistent evening wind down routine. This is not about a rigid routine or perfection. It's about sending a clear signal that the day is ending. Lower the light levels, lower the stimulation, and a predictable evening sequence allow your nervous system to shift out of alert mode. This is what allows melatonin to rise and the repair processes to begin. When evening becomes more consistent, sleep stops feeling forced and becomes a natural transition. Now, when these signals start to align, the body responds quickly, not because anything new is being added, but because interference is being removed. Energy becomes more stable throughout the day instead of spiking and crashing. Mental clarity improves because the nervous system is no longer being pulled in multiple directions. Sleep begins to come more naturally as the body clearly recognizes when it's time to recover. And these changes aren't accidental. They're the result of hormones being released at more appropriate times, metabolism becoming easier to regulate, and your recovery systems no longer competing with constant stimulation. Now, this is why so many people implementing this notice meaningful shifts within the first week. Their body is not being pushed. It's being allowed to function the way it was designed to. What's important to understand is that this approach is not aggressive. There's no supplements, there's no medications, there's no extreme interventions involved. This is about restoring natural rhythms that your body already knows how to follow. If you've ever felt like your body's been working against you, this is often the missing piece. Once you restore timing, the body stops fighting itself and starts doing what it was designed to do. This is how energy becomes more stable, how focus returns, and sleep becomes deeper and more restorative in a sustainable way. Hopefully, you now have a clear understanding of how circadian rhythm, light exposure, and daily timing shape the way your body functions. This is not about doing more or trying harder. It's about doing the right things at the right time. I want to encourage you to experiment with a few of the timing shifts that we discussed today and simply observe the changes that you experience. Pay attention to your energy during the day, how easily you fall asleep, and how rested you feel when you wake up. Those signals tell you more than any app or tracker ever will. If you found this video helpful, if it's clarified something for you, like it and share it with others so they can better understand their biology and how it actually works. And make sure to let me know in the comments what you noticed when you started making these changes. Subscribe to the channel if you want more strategies on how simple changes in your daily environment can support better health over time. And if you want to go deeper into this, watch the next video. This is where I'll explain in more detail why your body runs on a schedule and how circadian rhythm quietly controls far more than sleep.